Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the wicked. But his delight is in the Torah of Yahuwah, and in his Torah he meditates day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth his fruit. His fruit. We reap what we sow, and we sow what we want to receive. His leaf shall never wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. Greetings, Judah. DFG Gideon's Flight. Guys, I suspect today's message is probably going to be the most important message that I've ever had the privilege of sharing with my brothers and sisters on this channel. I have been in meditation, prayer for the last 24 hours, and really, seeking Elohim, for guidance and for increased understanding, obviously for blessing, and also seeking that he would use my vessel and the Ruach HaKodesh that he placed in me to be a blessing. And I believe he answered that for me this morning. And this message that I'm going to bring to you, my brothers and sisters, I really want you to be as attentive as you can possibly be, because this is going to be eye-opening. It's going to challenge, a lot of the things that you may have been thinking about. I'm certain it's going to reveal to many of you things that, that maybe have been hidden in your heart. What I mean by that, things you were thinking about, but you really never really took a step back in reflection and considered. And then last but not the least, to help you understand what's going on around us right now and how that we are actually living in the last days. And I know a lot of times that when men and women hear that, they all of a sudden, all their energy drop. When I read Psalms, that was Psalm chapter 1, by the way, that I read from verse 1 to 1, 2, and 3. And when we read about those things, it's almost like, the whole world lights up. Yes, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear more of that. But then when we go over to the truth of it, because the reason we like the light, because we want to have the good, for fear that if we don't have good, we're going to have bad. And unfortunately, a lot of us, we take, the light of the good and try to shield out the darkness of the now. And where the light of the good has its strength, the darkness of the now is not only has its presence, but it is absolutely going to have its impact as it is in these last days and times, of this earth, of man as we know them to be. And there's only one way to survive what is coming. And that is that we have to, beyond a shadow of a doubt, know that we are sealed in our foreheads with the Spirit of Yahuwah. Because that is the only light that's going to shine greater than the light of this wicked darkness that has been released upon the earth. And I say release because some of you may remember, you go back, around the beginning of September, Cern. That's the big cylinder, for lack of a better word. That's 17 miles, wide and so many miles deep. But it's a portal. And man has been working on this portal for generations. They may have been working on this for hundreds of years. And we have been in this illusion or somewhat of a matrix of being socially engineered to think at a very low vibration. Not only us, our ancestors as well. To think that everything that we see as far as advancement has only happened in our lifetime or maybe a lifetime before our lifetime. But we forget that technology at the highest levels were on this earth in the days of Noah. That's thousands of years ago. And a lot of that technology was lost or destroyed, in some case, hidden away, as it talked about in the book of Enoch, chapter 8, 9, 10, really 9 and 10, where Elohim had Michael and his angels, fight against, the Satans, and they were put, in a cave or in a hole in the earth. And they were sealed down there because they had created so much wickedness on this earth through men. Their children had created so much wickedness that they were doing everything imaginable, anything that came to their imagination. I mean, they literally, it got so wicked and weird and bad. They were eating one another. They were just, they were having sex with animals, brothers and sisters. There was nothing that could be imagined that they wouldn't do. And their technology, brothers and sisters, was far, far more advanced than the technology that we're dealing with right now. And there are what they call it, graphics all through ancient parts of this earth, down in Mexico, down in South America, down in Africa, even in America, drawings on walls and stuff that showed how advanced their technology was. But when they were put away, that technology was lost with them. And then people forgot. And people had to learn all over again. The children did. And when they walked around, they started looking at things. They just saw it as a wonder. They never understood who built the Taj Mahal. They just were born into it. The big, I want to call that the big tunnel in France. It's not a tunnel, but it's a big block that you can go through. But it's almost a gateway, like a portal, another portal. But they're phenomena. The wonders of the world is what they taught us when we were kids. And they were told, well, these are the 7 wonders of the world. And they said it to us in a way, don't try to figure it out. They're just wonders. They were not wonders. That was evidence of a greater civilization that was here before us that was so wicked, Yahuwah had to send down his angels down here and destroy the creators of it, all those who participated in it, just so that we, those of us who are here now, could get thus far. And now history is repeating itself again. And I know some of you might say, well, I don't know, Brother DFG, that's a hard push, that's a hard stretch for me to believe that they had that kind of technology and all of a sudden it was lost and no one can find it, no one knew about it. Well, here's what I will say to you. Isn't this at the same thing they told us about the people who went to the moon? When we started asking about, we, not in me, but other men, women, started asking about, the technology, that they used to go to the moon. The archive, they wanted to see the archive. They wanted to see all the evidence, the film, everything that they had collected during, in the 60s and the 70s, during that time of moon exploration. And you know what they were told? The journalists, the reporters, the researchers, oh, we lost all that information. It's all lost. I don't know if anyone can honestly say that going to the moon, space exploration, was not the most important accomplishment over the last 100 years. And they told those reporters, and they'll tell you too, if you had the credentials and the power to ask those questions, it was lost. They don't know where it is. Poop. So it's not a strange thing, brothers and sisters, to think that this there was knowledge that was here before us that is hidden from us, and then they gave us, some other theory to distract us, to keep us from asking a whole bunch of questions. In other words, they gave us a socialized, engineered education system that pretty much taught us about how to be indigent servants, worker bees, for lack of a better word. And don't focus on those big things. Just focus on, getting your job and getting your husband or wife and having children and go on. But I had to say that because what's happening right now has happened before. When Cern, back to what I was saying a moment ago, if you recall, September 1st, they reopened it. That big portal. They were talking about they're looking for some kind of God particle, I think is what they're saying. The origins of matter, the essence more or less of life. And they dug deep in the ground to find this place or to get to that wall that was sealed. And that sealing was by Elohim out of the judgment, again, for those who went into rebellion. The demons who could not be destroyed, they were locked up, except for, I want to say, 10% of them. It's in the book of Enoch. I think that's in chapter 10, talks about that. And then the men who were here, for the most part, many of them were destroyed, with the exception of, as we know, Noah and his sons. If there were others, it's not written. But now it has repeated itself again. When they opened up that portal, Cern, this past September. And this is not the first time they I think there's 7 of them, but there's a major one, the one I'm speaking about. I think that one is in Switzerland. But a couple of years before that, Steve Darby, Pastor Darby, talked about this too. He has a message that he calls Cern, C-E-R-N, the N. You might want to check that out. But he talks about it, and he gives a very good explanation of it. And this is like in 2016, he was talking about it. And what darkness that was going to be released upon the earth when they opened that thing up. In other words, they're going to release those demons back out. And except, you follow me, you were sealed. You are a believer, a committed believer, then you would be under attack. And let's say, in other words, in the darkness that he's talking about, let's just use the word, evil. But sometimes when we say evil, we tend to just think one-dimensional. When we say darkness, we tend to think one-dimensional. Darkness is pretty much what's happening to you, what's happening to me. That is what we see as our darkness. But when the book talks about darkness, when Elohim, Yahuwah, talks about darkness, it's talking about all forms of evil. All forms of evil. And now, if you look at cities all over this country, crime is increased. They're carjacking people left and right. They are robbing people. They are, using domestic violence against people. They are, using weapons to harm and take people's lives. People are coming up missing. Women, children, men coming up missing. In other words, nobody knows they're being snatched. And who knows what they're doing with them when they snatch them, off these streets. It's so bad, they're not even reporting on missing people anymore, brothers and sisters. Yeah, you'll hear an Amber Alert here or there, but for the most part, they've kind of threw their hands in the air and just said, hopefully they'll show up one day. And where these people are going, I don't know. Some say into, slave trafficking. Some talking about their human sacrifices. Some say they're being eaten. Yeah, eaten. And, etc. And then again, you look at darkness in terms of how this earth and how man now deals with each other. The level of resentment, bitterness, a mind of vengeance. I'm going to get them back. I'm going to get my revenge. Look at how it is now. And then look, and again, when I say vengeance, I want to take that back for a moment to domestic violence. Domestic violence. See, the domestic violence has metamorphed, is the best word I can say it now, metamorphed. And what I mean is that it's not only domestic violence in terms of physical violence, male against female, female against male. Because at one time that was pretty much, 90% of the domestic violence at one time or another was that, physical violence. One, male versus female, female versus female, because now since they're ordained, women marrying women, now, and domestic violence with lesbians is off the chart. Men marrying men, the domestic violence between, so-called gay men, it's off the chart. The stats are there, the data is there, look it up. But because of the marriage being dissolved, now 8 out of 10 people who marry are divorced, domestic violence has taken upon a different shape. Yes, the core violence is still there. There's no denying that. I'm talking about the physical violence. But now there's another domestic violence. Domestic violence has grown a new head. It's now become the two-headed dragon. Really probably a three-headed dragon. Physical violence, monetary violence, how that they will take and try to destroy each other, with the taking and robbing of resources, stealing of resources, lusting of the resources to take it, to try to hurt the other one. And then the third is a spiritual one, a spiritual domestic violence now, where people set themselves up to now say all kind of evil against, each other. They sit up at night and they conjuring. You know what conjuring is? It's when you say there and you lay there and you think of things that you could do to harm somebody. And you think about it. And your mind starts racing all over the place. And you come up with an idea. And you say, oh, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do this too. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do this too. And all the wickedness that you conjured up in your mind, you release it upon the other person. Domestic violence. So it has many, many faces. And all of this, I'm going to take this, I'm going to keep it right central, because that's what Yah told me to do. It's all representative of the darkness that we're in right now. And it's only going to get worse. And it doesn't matter how much you pray, brothers and sisters. And I want to emphasize to you sisters. I know so many of you, you feel like all I got to do is pray and everything's going to be all right. Sister, that is not the book. That is not the word, sister. All you have to do is pray and everything is going to be all right. If you know anything about the history of man, many of our people were praying when they were burning at the stake. Many of our people were praying when they were getting hung by the neck. Many of our women were praying when they were getting raped to death. Many of our men were praying when they were getting, buck broken. You have to be sealed. We have to be sealed against this darkness. And nothing except being sealed is going to protect us from this darkness. It's in the book. It is in the book. And that darkness, I've already described some things, but I don't think I've how you say it, hit the tip of the iceberg with darkness. And then you even talk about the pedophile things that are going on, these pedophile rings. Whoredom. I didn't even talk about that. Aborting or killing of babies. I didn't even mention that. The celebration of it, I might add. I haven't gone into a lot of the different things. The hatred in your household, the dishonor in your household, daughter hating the mother, fathers hating their sons. And this hatred does not limit itself to we just don't get along. I'm talking about a murder spirit in the house. Brother, taking the life of other brothers, sisters taking the life of other sisters, children taking their parents' lives, parents taking their children's lives. And if we don't have that seal, then nothing is going to stop that darkness from overtaking us. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you think, because you're entitled to all of that. But it does not change the truth. And the truth is, Yah said it was going to happen. We were forewarned. The wicked would do wickedly and will not understand what's going on. Go back and read the chapter, Daniel, chapter 12. There are other places in the books too say it's going to get worse. Men are going to get worse and worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. They're going to be a way that seems right to men. And that way it's going to be to their own destruction. Women too, you're going to think you're getting away with it. You're going to think you're right for what you want done. You're going to think you're getting justice, and the whole time you are getting set up like to walk right into a trap that you cannot see because the darkness has overtaken your minds. And now you're sitting, you're laying around, and you're just so bitter and so angry. And now now the witch, the spirit of the witch has overtaken many of you sisters. Not all of you. In other words, you're casting spells now. Well, I don't cast no spell on nobody. What do you think then? What do you think a spell is? Well, it's when you give somebody something to take, or you leave something that somebody knows, sister. It's a cantation. It's an incantation. Chanting. It's being obsessed with something you want to happen to someone else. That's not good. That is witchcraft. That is spell casting. I shared with you before. Your spirit in the body, not body. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. The spirit is just hanging, coming along for the ride. It's what's in you, that soul of yours. That's what makes you a witch or a wizard or a warlock or whatever it is. Spirits of divination. Spirits that love pleasure more than it loves Elohim. Why do you think so many people are going to this holiday season, head first like a bull going through a china shop without any regard of the damage that they're going to do to themselves and to their loved ones, especially their children. They're just going to pass it down generation to generation. We're supposed to be spell breakers, and we're actually being spell casters. We're supposed to be breaking the spell off of our family. But unfortunately, most of us are casting spells on our families and on our children. And our children are going to grow up to be just like us. And they're going to cast those same spells onto their children. Generational curses, witchcraft, wizardry, sorcery. And because that portal has opened, that's why you see an increase in everything wicked going on now. Whoever would have thought that all these things are happening at the same time to everybody? Everybody is like that. Whoa! Where'd that come from? But most of us, because of the darkness that is set upon us, a lot of us because, You know, we allowed ourselves to be, I didn't. You allowed ourselves to be seduced into, you know, allowing, you know, the liquid, allowing the liquid, you know what I'm saying, to be, you know, taken in. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And now your defenses have been weakened, physical defense and spiritual. And now you're susceptible. And a lot of the stuff we see out here, brothers and sisters, is because of that susceptibleness. They're susceptible to it now because they don't have anything in them to search for the seal. See, to get the seal, you have to be ravishness. You have to be persistent. You have to be like a rabid dog. You got to want it. You got like nothing is going to stop me. Nothing. I'm going to get that seal. Nothing's going to. You have to be that fanatical to get that seal in your forehead. And we were told that religion all you do is just believe and accept it. And you'll be sealed with the Holy Ghost. And tell me now, if you really want to be honest, how many people you know made that vow? They vowed that I'm born again. And within weeks, they were right back doing the same thing they were doing before they made that vow, if not doing things worse. Many of us did that. You follow me? That is not the seal. The seal will protect you and keep you. Anything else would just be a disillusion or just an imitation, something to fake to make you feel a certain way, although, you know, that feeling is not authentic. It only lasts for a moment. It only lasts when things are going your way. But see, the true seal, it will keep you it's going to keep you from when good times are there, and it's going to keep you when bad times are there, and it's never going to cause you to go into witchcraft or sorcery or idolatry or any kind of seducing spirits. You're never going to embrace anything dark under the name or under the disguise of justification. If you're sealed, that's still going to let you know clearly, vengeance belongs to Elohim. Vengeance is his to distribute, to hand out, not yours. I'm talking about if you were sealed, you would know that. But because many say they're sealed but not sealed, they take vengeance in their own hands. And they have their revenge. They go get their revenge. And if they can't get it, they die trying to get it. That's the demonic power of darkness that's operating. It is the very essence of when Satan was called forth by Elohim and was questioned, what are you doing? He said, I'm going up and down throughout the earth looking to see who is still loyal to me. And I'm going to tell you something, brother. He's been very, 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 very effective and very, 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 very successful. And therefore, this is why many of us are afraid to drive around the town or the city with our windows down. Come inside and lock our doors are right behind us. Some of us are afraid to answer the phone. And I'm going to tell you something. Where there is fear, there is no Elohim. Fear keeps company with fear. And fear is of Satan. It is a seducing spirit. What do they call it? Even the acronym, false evidence appearing real. F-E-A-R. Again, false, falsified, false evidence, how you feel, what you believe, appearing because you think you're right, real because you're going to act out on it, you're going to respond to it. False evidence appearing real. It did not come from Elohim. It is wicked, worldly, carnal. And if we were walking in the truth, being sealed, we would understand that no weapon formed against us would harm us in the end. Will there be things that will happen to us or come our way? Absolutely, yes. Will there be people who are conspiring within themselves or conspiring with others to bring hatred and to belittle us, to discredit our names, to discredit our reputations? Absolutely, yes. Where the powers or the rulers of these principalities, municipalities, try to scare you with bills, scare you with high prices, scare you with food scarcity, scare you with losing your job, scare you with losing your health. Absolutely. They all work together. They're confederate, interconnected, just like that, locked in. And all of it is from Satan. All of it is evil. All of it is from darkness. And the only thing that could protect us from it is the seal. It is the seal. What is it? You know, and I wrote this down this time because I know the last message I was struggling trying to give that, you know, what that scripture was to my brothers and my sisters. But it was, what it was, Isaiah 59 and I want to say 7, right? 59 and 17, right? Praise y'all. I can go there real fast. See, the good thing about those of us who love Elohim, we're not afraid to go to the book to look for answers because we know the only true answers are in the book. Amen. We know there's nowhere else to find it but right here. Hallelujah. Yes, I was right. 59 and 19. It says, so shall they fear the name of Yahuwah from the west and the glory of his rising of the sun. When the enemy comes in like a flood, the Ruach HaKodesh shall lift up a standard against him. And when they talk about fear for Elohim, that means reverence, love, honor, respect, obedience, submission to, cater to. But he's warning us that when the enemy is going to come. And if you're not sealed, you're not going to make it, brothers and sisters. And I'm not only just talking, by the way, from all of the stuff you see going on around you. Because, see, a lot of this stuff is happening, you know, where blood is being shared. In every way blood can be shared, I might add. And I'm not, I am including blood that happens between sexual intercourse. Wherever there is blood, that blood becomes a portal. What is a portal? It becomes a spot or a place where demons can be brought in. That's why you have all this blood shedding in the streets. And you can notice it never stops. It just gets worse and worse because there's portals coming from that blood. And I think these demons, you know, man knows, I'm not going to call all of them demons because all of them are not demons. But men know that that's why they get that blood up real fast. Talking about what it happens out in these streets. But that's neither here nor there. Don't stop there. All right. But what I'm sharing with my brothers and sisters that, you know, we have to have that seal, and we have to understand what is happening around us, because we're being led astray. We're being told, oh no, if you just do this, or if you just do that, or if you believe like this, and you walk like that, you think like this, and you behave like that, that's all it's going to take. And that is a lie. That is a lie. False evidence appearing real. We have to be sealed. And Yah is not going to seal us if we're walking in darkness, or we're training our children in darkness, or we're embracing the darkness. Somehow being deceived in ourselves to believe that we're strong enough because, well, I'm a believer, so I can go into the darkness, but I'm a believer. Sister and brothers, when that light is in any man, and that seal is in any man or woman, you're not going to be invited to the parties. Just, that's one indicator right there. If you're the light of the party, you don't have no, you are, there is no seal in you. You're not sealed. What I mean by the light of the party, everybody looking for you, where you at, when you coming. And when you get there, you remind them why they wanted you there. Because you bring the goodies, and you bring the fun, the laughter, you bring whatever it is you bring to people who may not have any clue that death is around the corner for them. And there you are, sitting amongst them, celebrating with them. Hell, some of us are encouraging their behavior because we're participating in what they're doing, never realizing that now we'll become a vessel for wickedness. And that is important to know. End of the day, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Well, you should know the truth, and the truth can set you free. But you're going to have to want to be free. Let's go over to the book of Revelations. Chapter 7. And I'm still talking about the seal. I'm talking about, that portal when they opened it up in Switzerland. Whatever was down in there, brothers and sisters, it is out now. I want you to think about from September 1st to now. And have you seen an increase in wars, rumors of wars, threats, violence, hostility, bitterness, hatred, depression, people being cynical of each other, lying on each other, people who loved or professed to love each other 5 months ago, now are walking in total bitterness one towards another and never stopping to think, wait a minute, did I fall? Did I take the bait? Have I been seduced, by some demonic force that's now caused me not to remember? That has told me what I once valued is worthless now because of an incident? Because of a disagreement? Because I needed to be patient and refused to be? Darkness. And you're not sealed. Because if you were sealed, you wouldn't continue to walk in that darkness. You would recognize it immediately and come out. Turn back. Repent. Make it right. Whatever applies. Revelations, chapter 7. Check this out, brothers and sisters. I just want to make sure, I give you a book to go along with what we're talking about. We shouldn't, at this late date in time that we're in, we shouldn't be taking men's word for nothing. If they're not in the book, and brothers and sisters, they're not teaching you from the book, and they're not backing up what they say with scripture from the book, why are you listening to them? Why? Why? Because they got a pretty face. They got a sweet sounding voice. Well, don't you know that describes Satan to the T? That is Satan. Beautiful, elegant, handsome, soft voice. But piss him off. Piss her off. And you're going to find out real fast that that was an illusion. That's the trap. That's the snare. Their sweet voice. Their pretty face, handsome face. Their lovely hair. Real or unreal? See that's the snare. That's the trap. That's the trick. That's how they lure you in. And then when you get in, then you're going to start to see how vicious and bitter and vengeful they can be. When they don't have control or feel like they're losing control over you. They don't have any self-control. You can believe that. They don't. Because Satan controls them in the dark. But he pushes them out in the light, you know, as an illusion. Because he knows that man, is attracted by the eyes, by the ear, by sweet words, lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, pride. So he sends them out that way. He knows what your weakness is, and that's what he's gonna tempt you with. And many of you are gonna just fall right on in line. And you're gonna be deceived, and you're gonna be taken away. And not only is your misery in this life, it's going to be beyond what you probably can imagine. But what's going to happen after this life, I don't even want to mention. I don't even want to mention to you what's going to happen, once you pass away or decease, expire, die, whatever word you use. You have no idea what's waiting for you. But let's go to Revelation chapter 7. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds. And I want you to think about Cern. Think about portals. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4 corners of the earth. That's a hell of a ball, or not. Holding 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. Now that means something could be going on with the climate. I think we all would agree something is going on with the climate. And it's not good. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having a seal of the living Yah. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Yah sent one to address the 4 who are coming from these 4 corners, all coming in on us through portals. Again, they've opened these portals up on us, brothers and sisters. Look at our children. Hell, look at the adults. All of them in a state of hypnosis now. Hypnosis. This is how they spend their day and night. Just like that. Ha ha ha! Ho ho ho! Whoa! Ah. Hypnosis. What a wicked, wicked device. What a wicked, wicked device of deception. To pull us away from the truth and put us in an illusion. And feel like we're living. And we know we're not. I'm talking about those of us who are captured in this darkness. Verse 3, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, neither the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our Yahuwah in their foreheads. All this stuff that's going to come is going to happen to everybody here unless you have that seal in your forehead. That's what it just said. Saying, hurt, don't do nothing to the earth, don't do nothing to the water, don't do nothing to the vegetation, plant life, trees, till we have sealed the servants of our Yah in their foreheads. Have you been sealed? Because if you haven't been sealed, you're about to get hurt. Let's go over to Revelation chapter 9. Precepts. Verse 1. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. And to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. The key to the bottomless pit. Who's in? Now we talked about in Enoch. Who got put in that bottomless pit? Those demons who had slept with the women on this earth and taught mankind how to do every kind of wickedness known to man. And they've been released. And it's right here in front of your very eyes. And that's why they try to get you not to read Revelations. Oh, that's complicated. Don't read that book. That is, that's too much. That's, that's going to just confuse you. I'm not confused. Are you? Now? Am I confusing you? This was all lies because as we said, Kyrie said, how do you keep a secret from a black man? Put it in a book. They didn't want you to know. So they told you it was spooky and scary and, ooh, you don't want to know about that. It was given to the key of the bottomless pit. Verse 2, and he opened the bottomless pit. It was open. Cern. The earth, the bottomless pit, is open now, brothers and sisters. While you got these gangs riding around, scaring the hell out of tormenting people, harming people. This death stare in people's eyes like somehow or another they're not even there. They look like, for lack of a better word, walking dead. Men and women and children. Verse 3, and there came out of the smoke locusts upon the locusts. Locusts, y'all know what a locust, upon the earth. And unto them was given power as a scorpion of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass. Remember I just read in chapter 7, they should not hurt the grass, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which do not have the seal of Yahuwah in their foreheads. That's who these scorpions, like creatures, who are going to be released out of this bottomless pit. They've already been released. And they're coming to do harm. And the only ones they're going to harm are those who don't have the seal in their foreheads. Let's read one more. Look, he says. Verse 4 again, Revelation 9 and 4. It was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only, I'm going to put this word in, only hurt those men and women which have not the seal of Yahuwah in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was the torment of a scorpion when it strikes a man. And in those days men will seek death and shall not find it. They shall desire to die, but death will flee from them. And the shapes of these locusts were like horses prepared unto battle. And their heads were as it was crowns like gold. And their faces were the faces of men. These are demons. Half men, half demons. These are the children of those demons. Scorpions with the face of a man, scorpions with the face of a woman, with great power. People are going to want to die and cannot die. See, that's the stuff. Well, it says you're going to be tormented if you don't have the seal. See, I told you this is a very important message, brothers and sisters. You need to really, really, really hear what your brother is telling you before it's too late. Can you imagine somebody wanting to die and can't die? Tormented so bad for 5 months? Most of us can't take a headache for 1 day. A toothache for 1 hour. This is tormented for 5 months. Begging not to live. Begging to die. And you can't. You won't be allowed to. And whatever these locusts, these demons, they're going to be constantly in your face. In your sleep hours and in your awake hours. That's torment. No matter where you turn, you can't run. And some people are like, I don't really understand what you mean by, they got faces like men, and their hair. Look at verse 8. And they had hair as the hair of a woman, and teeth as teeth of lions. Can you imagine a scorpion or a human being with lion fangs coming out their mouth like that? Can you imagine the damage they're going to do to all those people that you won't tell? To all those people that you're afraid that they're going to say something bad about you just because you telling them the truth to save their lives. Can you imagine what they're going to do to them? When you could have did something about it, I might add. And don't think it's strange that Revelation is talking about these things that look like serpents or look like scorpions in human beings. Look like, scorpions in women, scorpions in men. Don't think that'd be strange. Here, look, not the first time creatures like that were on this earth. You want to look at the book of Enoch. I'm sorry, not Enoch, the book of Jasher. Enoch is where they were put, and now they've been let out. Talking about these demons here. These, whatever these things are. This is the book of Jasher, chapter 36, verse 32. Jasher. And don't talk about Jasher's not a can now. Go to the book of Joshua, book of Samuel. Jasher is referenced by both of those men. Great men of Elohim. Both of them told us about the book of Jasher. Jasher is a real book. Don't get it twisted. Verse 32. Jasher chapter 31, verse 32. And those angels from the middle down were in the shape, 31. And afterward there were 120 great terrible animals that came from the wilderness at the other side of the sea. And they all came to a place where the asses were. And they placed themselves there. Asses, that's donkeys. And those animals from the middle downward were in the shape of the children of men. And from their middle upward, some had the likeness of bears, some had the likeness of capers, with tails behind them between their shoulders, reaching down to the earth. They had legs like us, brothers and sisters, walking around. But the top of them were like goats and like goats. They were like, bears, cheetahs, all kind of other animals and beasts. They were here. They are here. And they're coming back. You need another one? Look at Joshua, okay? That was one. Here's another one. That was Joshua chapter 31 verses. Well, rewind. You'll find it. Look at Joshua chapter 61, verse 15, verse 14. And it was one day that Seppo lost a young heifer, and he went to seek it, and he heard it lowing around about the mountain. And Seppo went and he saw, and behold, there was a large cave at the bottom of the mountain. Who's in these caves? Underground? Pits, the bottomless pits. And there was a great stone there at the entrance of the cave. And Seppo split the stone, and he came into the cave and looked and saw a large animal eating an ox. From the middle upward, it resembled a man. From the middle downward, it resembled an animal. And Seppo rose up against the animal and killed the animal with his sword. This one had the top like a human being, man or woman, and the bottom was like a beast. Think Baphomet, Mullah, the goat. Why are you thinking everything is about the goat now? You know, the goat with the horn, that's that one. The greatest of all times. They're calling these demons out when they do that. Oh, no, it's not, but they're just identifying perfection and excellence. That's what they're telling you. Of course they're going to deceive you. Never going to tell the truth. All this stuff has been lies. Including these holidays. All of them are lies. It's only one way to know the truth. And the only way for that truth to stand is you have to have the seal of Yah in your forehead. What does that mean? The seal of Yah as your understanding. And what you understand to do, that's what you will do. What you believe to do, that is what you're going to do. Whether it be good or whether it be evil. Never ever let somebody come and tell you when they're doing something wicked that they don't mean to be doing what they're doing. They absolutely mean to harm. And if you allow them to come in upon you without that seal, then you're going to be hurt. When you know that these people are unsealed, stay away from them. Cut them off. If they have your number, block them. If they know your address, buy a dog and put it outside and say, if the guy comes over here with bald head with a beard, bite his ass. But don't have fellowship with them. Don't let them in your space. They come to steal, they come to steal, they come to destroy, they come to destroy, they come to kill, they come to kill. Get the seal. You have to have the seal to make it. You say, Brother DFG, how do I get that? Through fasting, through prayer, and keeping the law, statutes, and the commandments, and fellowshipping with like-minded believers, people who believe exactly like you believe, and you are believing as the Scripture directs you to believe. That's how you do it. That's how you sustain it. That's how you maintain it. That's how you trust it. And that's why it's going to save you when shit hits the fan for everybody else. And it's about to happen. If it hadn't already happened for many. Brothers and sisters, today is the 22nd. Bible study night for those of you who are interested in joining us. 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern. But I hope this message resonated with you. You know, thumb it up, because that's how we're going to pass it and share it. If you care enough, if we love enough, we need to thumb it up so at least we can fight against the shadow banning of this channel. Share it. But more important, listen, re-listen, listen again. You know, get your book open. Book does you no good like this. All right? Got some healing to do? Heal it. Got some repenting to do? Do it. You got some relationship that you need to reestablish? You're wasting time. You better get on it. That being said, for those of you who join us tonight, talk to you then. The rest of you, my brothers and sisters, y'all willing, talk to you next time. DFG, praise Yahoo. Bye now.